Well, I think I'm coming back from the dead. Hi, my name's Kevin, and this is 100 Days of Living. In this video, I'm going to talk about how slowing down has helped me to take stock of my priorities, focus on what's most important, and I think it might just have given my purpose and mission a little more clarity. On day one of this whole 100 days thing, I had mentioned that I was looking for simplicity, peace, and freedom. I also mentioned that I'd be sharing any successes or failures that I've had along the way, with the hopes of sharing lessons learned in either case. This time, I have to be honest about the latter. In my arrogance and hubris, I think I turned that simplicity, peace, and freedom into complexity, chaos, and I think I put myself in even more chains. I started this whole thing with a head full of stress, a mountain of tasks, and I was trying to tackle everything at once. And I think this opened me up to get a nasty cold after not being sick for years. And I slowed down a little bit. And as I started to feel better, I started going for a full-on sprint. And I think this made the illness worse. I ended up spending a few days with a really bad fever. One night got so bad, I almost went to the emergency room. And as I'm starting this video, I'm starting the 4th week of being sick with a bit of a viral chest infection that seems to be on the mend, the fever's finally broken, and a lesson's been learned. Getting this sick after so long has been pretty humbling, and I think I needed it to knock me off my pedestal. I needed a reminder that I'm not invincible. Yeah, I was going about this all the wrong way, trying to solve all my problems at the same time. And I think that made me open to let a little bug get in, get a whole lot bigger, and take me down. I was just taking too much on at once. And while I was in the worst part of it, I remembered what Confucius famously said. I'm going to paraphrase here, so please excuse me on that. But if memory serves, it goes something like this. My dude, you gotta chill the fuck out. What are you trying to kill yourself? And then he went on to the more famous and quotable line. A healthy man wants 1,000 things. A sick man wants only one. And I realized I needed to take stock of my priorities. I needed to slow down and practice what I preach. I like that old Viking saying that if your house is rotten, tear it down, start over, and rebuild a better one. Well, there's a lot of steps in building a new home. Not to mention that it might just help to start with some blueprints by putting pencil to paper. See, I think what I was doing was I was trying to lay down a foundation while building a roof before I even had supports for it. And I was like trying to hold up the roof, put a support in, and then get distracted and be like, oh, you know what'll be cool? 6 outlets in that room. Let's go do that. You know, I was just all over the place. So slowing down means that I need to learn patience and work smarter. It means listening to my own advice and just taking one step at a time. It means remembering that even moving forward 1% a day becomes monumental in the long run. Slowing down means becoming stronger to take on all the obstacles that I have in front of me. At this point in the world of skateboarding, I'm probably considered one of the elderly ones. And after a few bone breaks, I'm still going to keep doing it. So as it's been, and I know will be, I know I'm going to be taking a lot of risks along the way. Slowing down means that I can be more calculated with those risks and less reckless. And I think that's going to make me better prepared for if and when I do fail. So that instead of it just completely laying me out, I've just got a scraped knee. And I was just recently trying to go from couch to 5K in a day. This time around, I'm trying to make my changes permanent. And that means starting slow and taking stock of priorities. I've got the blueprints drawn for my new house. I just need to prioritize the steps to build it up nice and strong and robust, in a better order, doing what's most important for the foundation and groundwork first, before I get to all the fancy stuff like wiring up my sick hi-fi into the wall so that I have a quadraphonic soundtrack that plays throughout the entire place as I am living my good life. Now I'd like to share with you something that has been helping me. This is a system that was devised by General Dwight D. Eisenhower in World War II. It's a system that can help you go from the beginning of a conflict and do what's important to bring you straight to victory, if you take your time and prioritize things correctly and just do what's most important first. So what we have here on the wall behind me is called the Eisenhower Matrix. And it's kind of nice doing these videos because this is something that would live in my journal. And, you know, I might refer to it on occasion, sometimes out of sight, out of mind. Now it's on my wall. So anytime I pass by here, I'll be able to refer to this and have a constant visual reminder of what my priorities are. You know, and when I put this up there, I was also thinking that it might be nice if I got some old newspaper clippings, some old maps, pictures of celebrities, politicians, pictures of UFOs, Bigfoot, a bunch of pins, and then stuck it all together with, pieces of yarn stringing them together. But looking like a complete psychopath is not on my priority list. So anyway, I'm finding the Eisenhower matrix to help me to order my priorities. I don't know if it's just because I'm an artist, I'm a visual guy, but shiny things distract me. And I think that's why I was doing way too much at one time. So let's take a look at this. All right, so in this first box here, we got urgent and important. This is the stuff that you want to do now. This is where your highest priorities are going to go. If you've got priorities or tasks that are important but not urgent, they're going to go into this box right here. So you're going to want to plan and do ASAP. A lot of people seem to think that ASAP means I'm going to get right on it, but let's remember that it means as soon as possible. All right, now if something is urgent but not important, put your priorities in here that you can reschedule or delegate. All right, that's going to bring us to this last box here. Things that are not urgent and not important. A lot of times these are the shiny things. And in my mind, I'm kind of thinking about these as being kind of like weekend activities. This is stuff to just do later. Because sometimes when you do things later, or schedule things to do later, that means it doesn't get done. So maybe it's not that important. So do later or delete. So now let me show you what I was doing that was overwhelming me and I think eventually ran me so ragged that I got so sick. This is pretty much how I was prioritizing things. Well, I guess it is an exaggeration. Hold on. Now it looked more like that. And trying to do this much stuff pretty much meant that I was fooling myself that I was being busy and getting ahead while not moving anywhere. I kind of recently described it to a friend as when you're riding your bike through the mud and you're just kind of trying to get traction and then you might just get a little bit and then you dig yourself even deeper. And now I have a much more manageable and doable hierarchy of priorities. And if you'll notice how many of them ended up in the do it later or delete box, with the least amount and highest priorities up here where they're urgent and important. A couple of these are long-term. One's going to take about a couple weeks and 2 to 4 of them probably be done at the end of this afternoon. And then at that point, I can take something from here or here one at a time and move it into the highest priority. With the recent revelation that I need to stop running around like a chicken without a head and need to slow down a bit, this is going to keep me focused. And when I do focused work, that's when I make progress. I was also thinking with this revelation about needing to slow down that I should probably take a recharge day or two. I was going 7 days a week with all guns blasting. And maybe on one of those recharge days, that's when I'll pick off one of these. Or not. Most of the time I only get my daughter on the weekends. And cherish family is one of the tenets of my battle plan. So I think taking that time to slow down, recharge, and spend time with her is a lot more important than working myself into the grave. And having that recharge time means that on Monday, I'm going to be stronger to kill it through Friday. And it's really come to light over these past couple weeks that hustle culture can suck every nook and cranny of my All right, it's only been about 2 days since I did that last clip. And just slowing down in that amount of time, having my priorities all set up, I've already gotten way more done. And I thought it might be worth bringing up the first time that I lost everything. I mentioned before that was during a divorce that really blindsided me and just kind of shattered my world. And when that whole thing first popped off, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't putting graphs on my wall. I wasn't doing Eisenhower matrices. So this is to say you don't have to be as extra as me and do that kind of stuff. I just started clearly knowing that things needed to change, things need to get better. And I just addressed the biggest pain point or the biggest elephant in the room. And I would just tackle that to the point of getting rid of it or getting to a point where there's some progress before I put anything else on top of that. I had to go to California, my home state, to regroup. When I came back to the Pacific Northwest and do a 30-day challenge. For the next 30 days, I'm going to be taking on a new challenge. This is my war. It's time to rise above and, metaphorically speaking, become a goddamn motherfucking warrior. So my war, it gets its name from one of my favorite Black Flag albums. Enacting a battle plan every day, working on my daily action discipline didn't mess that up at all. 30 days. What I forgot about, and I think is important to this story, and something that I neglected, I didn't mean to, but I did, is that going from the first time I did the battle plan and the daily action, I've said in past videos, you know, I've been here before, so I know I can fix myself, I know how to do it. That part's not a lie, but I left out and forgot about that it took me an entire year of working on myself to get to that 30 days. That 30 days was huge, but I couldn't have done it without that entire year beforehand. And so in my arrogance and hubris, trying to rebuild up my house, rebuild up those pillars of wealth and the good life, I wasn't thinking about how far back I'd slipped. And so I started this thing thinking, I'm going 100 days this time. This is gonna fix everything. I forgot it took a whole year beforehand. And so here I am. I'm gonna start things just the way I started when I was going through a divorce. I just started walking. That was the first thing I did to help improve myself. As I mentioned before, you should leave the past behind you, but sometimes history has good lessons. It's one of the reasons why I like this place so much. There's a lot of history here. I'm in a very old part of this cemetery. There's a lot of pioneers here. Right back behind me is Virgil Earp. It is so quiet here today. And because of the time of year, the sun is going down pretty early. It's kind of eerie looking. I like it. I'm going to turn this around. You guys see this. Just look at this place. It's so beautiful. It's so awesome here. And like I said, I'm in a part that's very historical. There's a lot of graves that date back to the Civil War and the Wild West. A lot of historical figures here. A lot of pioneers. I'll tell you, I've been cooped up for so long with this fever, and even though my lungs are still killing me, it is so nice to be outside, breathe the fresh air. It's nice and crisp. Be around these trees. Just taking a leisurely stroll. I don't have any particular destination in mind. This is fantastic. You know, I did hint at the beginning of this video that being sick and needing to take stock of my priorities and slow down and everything like that has also led me to think a lot about my purpose, that of being an artist, someone who makes art every day. Been thinking about my purpose, maybe kind of redefining it. When I was going through that divorce, on the old version of my YouTube channel, I was documenting my kind of road towards making things better. And so that's why I'm kind of doing this again. Back then and now, I'm getting a lot of comments, I'm getting emails, I'm getting DMs that are saying that I'm helping people, just like I did back then. And that means the world to me. And when I'm making art, doesn't matter what the medium is, it has always meant more to me when it affects somebody, when it makes a difference with somebody. Even if it's one person, if it's 10 people, if it's 1,000 people. If someone is affected in some way that is positive, whether it's inspiration or just makes them smile, makes them laugh, or just says, oh man, that's cool. And then maybe they want to go pick up a pencil and draw something, or pick up that skateboard that's been collecting dust for years in the garage, whatever it is. I don't think saying that I'm an artist as my purpose is enough. I don't really know an eloquent way to word this, but I think the purpose is simply, I'm a guy who happens to be an artist who wants to make a change. Art's the vehicle, that's it. And that gives my mission a bit more clarity, more solid direction. And real quick, while we're over here, let's say hello and pay some homage to Virgil Earp, brother of Wyatt Earp. As I mentioned in a past video, Virgil Earp's art was bringing law to the Wild West. Right, the phone I'm recording on is about to die, so I'm gonna get going. And I don't think you can tell, but the sun is going down. It looks amazing. And yeah, looking on the phone right now, it doesn't look like it's doing it any justice. So I'm gonna go back home and finish up the video there. Metaphorically, my house came crumbling down around the middle of spring this year. When this video goes up, it's only going to be about 3 days after Thanksgiving. Rebuilding a life that took a few years to slowly destroy can't be fixed overnight. From spring till now, the way that I want to rebuild everything, that's not a whole lot of time. So patience is the key, and slowing down to construct things correctly. Being sick for a month was kind of a drag, but I'm actually kind of glad it happened. It gave me a bit of a pause that I probably needed so that I could move forward stronger and smarter than I would have otherwise. It's given me a lot to think about, and I'm tempted to do that now, but I think I will save some of those topics for other videos. I am tempted to give you a hint about something I'm thinking about. I don't know. How's this? Thanks for watching. I've got an algorithm to fight, so I'd be much obliged if you'd hit that like button, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you feel so inclined to help me out with what I'm doing, there's a Patreon link over there in the bottom right-hand corner. In any case, thanks again, and have a good one.